Hello everyone, today in this video we'll fight against the advanced character of our world around us, and this time we will discuss a general situation we have now. We see massive, in massive influx of newcomers who can be called invaders, caused by the external forces like Russia and China, and also caused by leftist European business political elites, together with these external forces, economical crisis, troubles with access to the resources, because at the end of 1990s, Germany, and the symbol of this politics is former Chancellor Gerhard Schröder, actually made European economy more and more dependent on the resources from Russia especially. And now this source of resources is much limited due to the recent geopolitical perturbation and intensification of the conflict in Ukraine that could happen at any time. We see, mm, we see this what we should see for long. European nations are facing crisis of the crises. Actually, accumulation of the crises. Identity crisis, demographic crisis, economical crisis, financial crisis, everything together. In such moments, very, very grim and very often dark moments, if they last too long, of history, moments of history, we can use them to define ourselves again by coming back to the roots. We can gain awareness about the world around us, who really uh, rules this world, and what are the purposes of these people who are really ruling this world. Once we know it, we should, and we have to, I would say, organize ourselves in larger groups and use old true, old fact, that the only purpose of the government is keeping the power, to rule, to keep the power. And the only thing I will add, the government, whatever it is, legal government, corporations behind it, different groups of people behind the government, and so on. Doesn't matter who these people are. The government, each one, is afraid of only one thing. They are afraid of losing the power. Because, of course, they wouldn't like to lose the power because they live for having the power. This is their main purpose. They are used to living in a luxury with servants, so they are not able to do anything by themselves. They really wouldn't like to work because they never worked for their own food and luxury that surrounds them. And they also know, many of them, that they are doing bad things. So once these things are released to people and they do not have power anymore, uh, angry population would simply annihilate them within a second. So these people are really afraid of losing the power. That's why, if society, a proper amount of people, is aware of this, and at the same time, this a huge chunk of society is aware of its own common interest, a proper interaction between peoples and government is being created. People press the government to serve them, and government, as I mentioned, doesn't matter what it is, and the government is afraid of losing power. That's why it does what it must. Otherwise, government will never do what it must. It has to be forced by the huge chunk of people who are aware of their own uh, identity and of their own interest. That is why neo-Marxism is attacking culture and cultural identity so much, because thanks to the cultural identity and cultural heritage, people can be unified with some values, with some practices, and with some behaviors, and with some heritage from the past. And with such unification lubricant, one can start building something, a self-aware group that is aware of its own interest. And such group, of course, will press the government to do what's good for this group of people. And now we understand why governments, currently especially, do not want people to have culture. Not in, they do not have many people who would be aware of their culture, of their heritage, because around such things, such social lubricant, they could unify, create a strong self-aware group, and press the governments to to do, and everyone who is behind the government pulling the strings, press all of them to do what's good for this population. That is why we are having problems that we are having, because the amount of people who are aware of the common interest is still too little to press governments properly to force them to serve us. We have to work to increase this group of people. All the best. Have a nice day. Bye.